Hello and welcome back to our study of Peninei Halacha, the teachings of Rabbi Eliezer Melamed, Shlita. Here we are, Yom Shlishi. Patmaim Kitov, as we always say, please continue davening for Chayalei Tzvah Gana Yisrael, for Shalom L'chol Petzua Yisrael, and the safe return of our hostages. Of course, as the news developed late Monday, how our friends, our enemies, have turned against us once again and reneging on their ceasefire deal, and it's just good to hear some strong talk from our administration, finally, and let's hope we can come to a resolution, the resolution that is needed and deserved. But please continue davening and exerting every effort that you can. We dedicate our learning to Nishmat, Sarah, Daniel, Shimon, Rav Duron, Vashel, Shem, Damo. So this is actually the last halacha in this chapter. We'll continue in the topic in general, but in this foundational chapter, so the last is Lashon HaTefillah. Mitzvah men muvcha lispalal be'ivrit. So there is an optimum way to perform this mitzvah, and that is to daven in Hebrew, or Lashon HaKodesh, really. Lefi sheba chibur anshe knesses agdolas nesach tefillah v'hish Lashon HaKodesh uvaniver halam, because this is how the men of the Great Assembly authored these prayers in Lashon HaKodesh. That's how the world was created. Uvam b'di'eved mi she'enu mevin ivris yachol latzeis yidei chavaso b'safos acheros. However, if one does not understand Hebrew, it's weird to say Ivris, even though it's probably the proper way to say it if I'm reading the way I'm reading, but it's Ivrit. But you can be yotzei your obligation with other languages. In the note, he actually raises an interesting question about Kriya Shema. Kriya Shema, that's machlokas. Shema Esrei is one thing. Kriya Shema, maybe it's not okay to say it in other languages, but for intents and purposes, let's just talk about Tefillah B'Gadol. Havdel Yisodi Yeshnu Ben HaMispal B'Irit Mispal B'Shar Lashonos. There is a foundational difference between one who davens in Hebrew versus other languages. If you daven in other languages, then if you don't understand those words, you're not yotze anything. But if you say the words in Hebrew, even if you don't understand them, which probably is many people, if not most people, really understanding what you're saying, but nevertheless, you're still yotze. But at the very least, in Hebrew, you have to understand the meaning and the implication and understanding of the first verse of Kriya Shema, and the first blessing of the Shemona Esrei, Shakavana Behem Ma'akeves, because if you don't have the understanding of Kavana, then you're not yotze davening. We discussed this in previous lessons. Havdel bein ivrit l'sha'ar hasafot, shelivrit yesh erech atzmi, shebot nitna haTorah v'nivra ha'olam. Hebrew also has a differentiation between other languages because there is an inherent value in Hebrew. The Torah was given in Hebrew. The world was created using Hebrew. L'chein, again, I say Lashon HaKodesh. L'chein gam mi she'eino meven osa yochel l'kaim bas mitzvos hatefillah mitzad erech ha'atzmi. And therefore, someone who cannot understand, who does not yet understand Hebrew, is still able to fulfill the mitzvah of tefillah because it has this inherent value. Aval kol safa acheres, but every other language, the value is found and it's dependent upon that you understand, or it's expressing what you're thinking, what you're feeling. And if you don't understand it, then there's no value whatsoever. So therefore, you cannot say Kriya Shema or Shemona Esrei in other languages. So let's just take a minute. Like, I don't speak Greek. So for me to say all of davening in Greek would be completely useless and a waste of time because I don't understand anything that I'm saying, and there's no inherent value in speaking Greek when it comes to davening. So lamaisa, mishe'ena mevin ivrit. So practically speaking, someone who does not understand Hebrew, rishoy livchar ketzad lehispalel. So you have an option of how you want to daven. Mitzad echad yesh yisaron letefillah b'safa shumakir. So on the one hand, there's an advantage of davening in a language which you understand, shabayuchal lachaven yoser, and you can have better concentration and intent. Mitzad sheni mispalal be'ivrit tiyeh biyado hama'ala sheispalal b'lashon hakodesh kol os v'os shuv mechavenes tikun olamos. But if you say it in Hebrew, on the other hand, then there is an added benefit that you're saying the Hebrew words, you're saying Lashon HaKodesh, and there are some perhaps even mystical connotations with every single letter that you recite. And to daven in any language is only a temporary situation, meaning it's only applying to your specific instance. Only those who do not understand. But you cannot establish a davening minyan that will take place in another language. And he says, if you look at the origins of the Reform movement in Germany, where they removed all Hebrew, all Lashon HaKodesh, and translated everything into German, and when you have a complete abrogation of the Tefillah in that sense, where there is no Hebrew, and of course this led to tremendous amount of assimilation and other things. And here he's just quoting from the Chassam Sofer and other places as well, but that's the value of speaking Hebrew. So we should say that doesn't mean we can't say anything in English. It just means that to have a minyan that is established in a different language that's not Lashon HaKodesh is completely against halacha. Gamas mitzvahs Kriya Shema, Mikar Adin Efshel L'Kayim B'Targum. The mitzvah of Kriya Shema, you could probably be yotze with an explanation, meaning a different language. But since we have a doubt about how to translate certain words, so that's why we paskin, Mishnah Berurah paskins in Simcha Samach Beis, that one cannot say Kriya Shema in another language. So when it comes to Kriya Shema, Shemona Esrei, we should say them in Hebrew, and even if we don't understand, we're still getting a certain type of reward. So thank you so much for joining us. We'll continue again a new chapter next time, but still on the same topic. Please continue davening for Chalei Tzvah Yisrael, for Shalom L'chol Pitzui, Seal Straight for return of our hostages, Nishmat Sarah and Daniel Shimon, Rav Drum Mishel Shem Domo. Thanks so much for joining us today. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.